Vamos allá, señores. No creo que Europa vuelva a pechear. Cuidado,
This early, it's going to feel absolutely fantastic. Joining Humble Life Esports, who have already made their way up there with their last victory. As Caps just going base skin.
La Copa Piruleta no. El torneo más importante del año, chicos. Es el torneo más importante del año. Esport World Cup, Mundial Esport. Importante. No le metáis dinero a G2, chicos, que ya sabéis lo que son. A ver qué tal Manolito Suárez, No hay nada de frontline para parar el daño del Jhin. Si fuera un Jhin coreano, para mí sería insta-win, Cuidado con esto, Un dato que te va a dar la sangre. Sion no se piquea en competitivo desde la última vez que se jugó, ¿no? La Copa Boucada, ¿no? Copa Kikesalismo también.
We'll see a control of the bottom side brush for Masu and Lucio as Broken Blade is continuing to try to fish for these harpoons. We'll finally land a second one there. But let's see what happens with this level 1. Masu gonna hit that first shot, and I guess it won't really matter. But sometimes you get in that brush and things change in the lane.
Yeah, and this I feel could actually just go really G2 favored. It's not exactly the most power. Of course, Jhin in lane is actually pretty strong, but level 1 Alistar is probably not what you want if you want to go toe-to-toe in that 2v2. As Quad and Caps fighting once again. I feel like this is such great news for Quad, though. His Azir was so good in the last game, and he just gets to continue on down that same track.
O incluso al revés, ¿no? Yo creo que hay algunos patrones de estos que funcionan al contrario. Supongo que parece un poco Counter Logic, pero por ejemplo el año pasado estaba Coca-Cola y este año está Pepsi. Diréis, ¿por qué es eso? ¿Realmente mete pasta estas marcas por visibilidad? Suele ser al revés. O lo haces gratis para darte como legitimidad de decir, coño, mira, me apoya la marca que sea. Y realmente no pagan, ¿sabes? Funciona muchas veces así. O sea, no es como que te den dinero por aparecer aquí. Crunchyroll, igual a Sony, igual a PlayStation, EWC, Copa Pipera, puede ser, Correcto, Firikoi ganó a Gami y perdió contra la Narangua. La Copa salieron a divertirse. ¿Cómo? Muchos brotes en esta partida se notaba a los chavales que habían salido a divertirse y no lo han sacado por algunas decisiones raras en midgame, supongo producto del respeto que les tienen. Y luego otra vez no le damos pri al Varus, pero a mí me ha gustado. Está bien, ¿no, chicos? Calma. Copa, hemos venido a divertirnos, ¿no? Tranquilidad, señores. Por cierto, recordad que estamos en YouTube, ¿vale? Para el que le venga mejor el YouTubismo. Incluso el doble remo que siempre se agradece. Ojito con Busio, le van a partir las muelas. Ojito Manolito Suárez, cuarta bala que no la va a poder pegar. Broken Blade respetando. Ojo al stun, se va a comer. No, ya llega el knockup. Casi le mete. Si le llega a meter un pelín más de daño, le fuerzan el flash, poco más. La Copa Tío Gilito, esa sí que mola, chicos. La Copa Tío Gilito. Ya gracias Samu por ese remismo. Gracias por ese prime. A More lo que le ha pasado, chicos, es que no les han dejado entrar porque por lo visto el primer día era puerta cerrada el evento. ¿Por qué? Ahí ya no sabría decir. Pero bueno, básicamente no podía entrar. La Copa Santiago Bernabéu. Queda esta de 2 partidas más. No sé a qué hora vamos a llegar a ver la Superliga, señores. Pero lo de tiempo entre partidas lo deberían revisar un poquito.
We got a bit of a lane swap coming on through here. As Midios was talking about before, sometimes there's like a million different reasons as to why you swap, but when in doubt, swap is kind of what I got from it. And that is what G2 is going to do. The Dragon is going to be spawning here, just a lone Chemtech to start us off. is going to mean that adds a little bit more power to the potential souls that we're going to see in this game. Only one Chemtech soul so far today.
Ya no lo sé, a ver, también pensar que a los fans les pagan el viaje, o sea que tampoco es que pase nada, lo miras ahí en el pasillo el partido y ya está, ¿no? Koi juega contra el ganador del Ostras Gam, chicos. Simplemente. Fácil, sencillo. Así que sencillo, ¿no? Hostia, Broken Blade, vaya mauleada, tú. Ojo.
And it looks like neither team wanting to fight. It's a gentleman's agreement. Just a bit of a thumbs up there. Now Caps moving forward, finds a speed up with the Molten Shield. Once again, the answer is going to be there, and there's the Emperor's Divide. Caps electing not to use the flash yet. And there's not quite enough damage on the table, so it doesn't actually have to at all.
Madre de mi vida. Ahí tienes el link, Víctor.
Quad and his cow.
Am I crazy? Busu not headbutt there? I thought he was going to headbutt Caps back in. Maybe I missed it, but...
maybe he like got caught on minions or something like that?
Yeah.
Or maybe he used it to get in.
Maybe he did use it
no
to
sé
get
qué coño hacen, tío, la verdad.
it, but either way,
vamos a ver el liveito. ¡Qué bonito Juan Samuel, Dios mío, tío!
Still going to try and get him out of there. I just don't think it's
quite
work. The heal is going to come on through. Masu thought he could find it with the fourth shot. And the Q is going to be enough. And first blood over to the Zaya feels fantastic for G2.
Oh, man.
Vamos, G2. Una parte de mí quiere un G2ismo. No, tío, no. Tiene que perder G2, que si no, no juegan contra la factoría. Y me hace ilusión, Qué bien Hansamita, Vamos, Hansama. ¿Cómo te queremos, Juan Samuel? ¿Cómo te queremos, Juan Samuel? Sí, señor. Eres un crack.
leads I mentioned earlier that continue to snowball here. It was 500 gold, and now with that kill going over, it's 1,500 gold here at just below 7.5 minutes in. Is still looking for that kill onto Caps. Yeah, he's just going to ride out the storm.
Cuidado, Busio. Labrov que lo intenta. ¿Quién es mejor, G2 Labrov o G2 Labrov? Hombre, G2 Labrov antes ha jugado bastante bien. Hostia, que se haya quedado aquí solo Manolito, que así. La ha cancelado ahí incluso la cuarta bala.
Masu has that potion chugging through the ignite just barely, and
casi lo mataba,
Masu wants to go and get that full shot, but like you said, the heal is required.
Oye, son 1500 de oro, Veo a G2 muy fino, chicos.
Look to take these out. They have so much control over
no está nada mal,
Caps is unable to join, but I just don't think there's enough Flyquest here.
Los haters de Labrov a la cueva, chavales. Hay que decirlo. Los haters de Labrov al cuevismo. Ojo, Caps, muy tocado. Vaya zona le acaba de meter Quad. Aparece también Broken Blade. No tiene daño. Quad. Maula de época. Misil. Y se lo lleva el oso.
As G2 grabs their second kill of the game.
And they get all the grubs as well on the top side of that fight. Caps is even going to pick up an extra plate for his trouble. And the lead here is just exploding for G2. Hold up, though.
Yeah, this could be one as they layer the CC real nicely. Labrov still able to get himself out, though, and Hansama is free hitting. Inspired can't do anything. There's the feats of warfare.
¡Lo que juega G2! No va a volver Cloud9 versus G2. No lo vamos a ver contra la factoría, Les veo clínicos, Esto está siendo un baile, Está siendo un baño, Manolito Suárez no sabe ni lo que está haciendo.
There's the flash forward. Does have the Featherstorm available as now Busio might find himself overextended because Skewmon gonna give him the good old depth thumbs up and down goes the cow. And his beefsteak now is 4-0.
Tío, 3K es una paliza. Europa ha vuelto. Ya no es quinta región. Vale.
With the snowball that is really rolling down the hill
Copa no somos quinta región.
They need to stem the bleeding early. They need to make sure they get through the early game so that Azir can be relevant later on and they can play that game of just outranging.
Vale.
Maybe a casualty here though in the bottom side.
Yeah, I think he may die. Some Alcove Gaming is not going to save him there. And he is just going to get taken out. Deals with the minion wave, so I guess there's that as the rest of G2
¿Dónde estaba este G2, chicos? Esperando para el torneo importante, evidentemente.
Certainly are. I just don't know if it's enough, especially if Blippo ends up dying in return.
He has flash, doesn't have ult. He's going to flash, try and get himself out, but he's caught with the last bit of the knock-up here as the heal going to be utilized. Out goes Labrov, and Blippo will be absolutely fine. By absolutely, I mean, he's just going to live. And he's looking a little worse for wear. Still,
I mean, he didn't die, so I mean, absolutely not dead.
Yeah. Absolutely alive, very alive. Is Labrov not as alive as it turns out? Busio is going to be able to grab that one with a trample. And as we were singing the praises and saying words like insurmountable, the surmounting begins.
Yeah, well, it's a bit messy down there as a commitment on the Blippo does fail. He flashes to get the slice and dice away, and then they stick around just a little bit too long there. Labrov ends up being the one who bites the bullet there. As you can see the gold difference over time by S&B.
Qué grande el Spikes,
Quite
ya por ese remo.
you know, we
No quiero decir nada, que luego hay mufa, me echan la culpa, la gente se pone nerviosa y no queremos sustos.
Pero
la Ceros ha tenido más días de descanso, yo creo que esa copa nos la llevamos.
Oh my goodness, okay, the rest of Flyquest are moving up. As we can see, Broken Blade in so much trouble. The Glacial Prison goes down. Not even close, says Blippo.
Madre de Dios, madre de Dios, qué mal G2.
He was very well aware of the fact that since nobody was helping out topside there, he might be the next target.
Tío, no creo que haya vuelto a ocurrir que he dicho. He dicho la palabra baño y va a volver a ocurrir. Pues parece ser que no ocurre.
He's like, no, it was never that G2 favored. Don't worry about it, guys.
It certainly, you know, is
Joder la mufa,
the lead is shrinking.
Joder la mufa, van a pillar a Caps. Cuidado porque puede llegar otra vez el CC o el Caps. Uy, Caps, uy, Caps, uy, Caps. Tío, lo que corre la Aniques. Busio muy tocado, lo van a acabar reventando. Busio maula el Meiji de la derecha. El Meiji. Que no he mufado nada, gente, calma.
The big story that we weren't watching was the fact that Masu, like I said, he had to walk away from the turret because he's like, well, I'm not going to die. But he did just walk away from the turret and give up several waves, and then also lose his turret and couldn't farm the entire time. Yeah, so the Jin really didn't like how all of that went to pass, unfortunately. As this gold lead here for Hansama is the biggest in the game by far at nearly 2,000 at this point. And the Zaya is ready to team fight.
Yeah, and I think I'm ready to get back on my original opinion of Jin, which was that I just didn't like him very much. I gave him a bit of a pass for MSI because he offered a fair bit of utility, right? If you add a lot of extra carries to the rest of the map, you do need your AD carry to take a bit of a back seat. Not in this game.
Manteniendo un poquito jugando con cabeza. Son 1500 de oro de ventaja, no está mal tampoco. Tienes copabotas, uno buen dragones. Creo que el partido está más o menos aceptable. Teniendo en cuenta que o bien al Varus, o sea, o bien al Jin, perdón, o bien al Azir lo deberías poder reventar en fight bastante fácil. Pero bueno, balones a Hansama y que invente. Aún así, creo que tenías una muy buena oportunidad de snowballear sin mayores problemas y vas a tener que remarlo igualmente. Vas a tener que remarlo bastante si lo quieres sacar adelante. ¿Cómo queda Mekoy? Ha ganado a Gam y ha perdido contra Koi. Jugará mañana a las 11 contra el ganador de los tras Gam. Un BO1. Si gana pasa, si pierde a casa. Sencillo. La anterior partida de Skirmishes ha sido buenísima, chicos. La partida pues es más complicada y ya está. Siempre jugar contra dispares es difícil. De hecho, ahora podemos ver una posible cazada de Skirmishes. Al que van a cazar va a ser a él. Vaya liada, otra vez la mufada, joder. Otra vez la mufada, joder. ¡No puedo decir nada! ¡No puedo decir nada!
Still, that is a very dead Skirmish.
I was a little bit concerned about the split of the CC there. You know, I thought, okay, just focus Skirmish and you get him for sure, but they do ultimately get him down with that final shot there from Masu. And now Hansama is actually left out to try here. TP coming through from Labrov. Can they save him?
He is going to get in there. There's the Feather Storm. Can Hansama find the angle? The three-man knock-up is going to be the best that they were hoping for.
¡Hostia la torre! ¡Hostia la torre! Abajo el telón del el de siempre, no va a llegar. Lo para la Bro. Lo para la Bro. Esto que va a ser decente al menos para G2. Se mantiene el 1500 la diferencia de oro en el marcador. Cazadita al Megi de la derecha. Busio, que va a acabar muriendo a manos de Caps. No le he mufado. No ha habido mufa. No ha habido mufa. No ha habido mufa. To this top lane, doesn't have teleport. He might actually just get the whole thing, frankly. As you go back to this play, this was from a while ago, where Inspired was hiding here. They do end up getting the root here onto Skumon. And then the ult here from Inspired actually goes on to Caps as they get a little bit greedy, hoping they could get both, and that's what I was concerned about, but Masu gets that final shot there. The fourth shot will be enough damage, so they still end up getting him. This is a heroic play from Abrav. So unsealed teleport here. The ult from Hansama buys enough time. He gets knocked up. It gets the charm here to allow Hansama to get there. Triple knockup, and then que no soy Mufoat, coño, que ha habido una puta liada aquí de Flyquest loca. Luego no me echéis a mí la culpa, tío. Ya lo estáis viendo, que ha habido aquí fácil de cojones, joder. Playing supportive for his AD carry. Yeah, that was a huge Celine Dion in that moment. It was absolutely beautiful. Lo único que puedo decir, esto no es un juego, esto es pasión.
Really nicely done there from the G2 support. And as we can see, the result is a 1.4k gold lead.
Que no soy Toad Mufarillo, en serio, parad, por favor, os lo pido. Os pido, por favor, que paréis con lo de Toad Mufarillo, que me estoy empezando a rayar. Me estoy empezando a rayar una barbaridad. Vamos, Manolito Suárez. Manolito Suárez, hazlo. This dragon here, it's the first Ocean dragon of the game, as we have Ocean Soul here, is completely under the control of G2. And this is where things get a little bit tricky for Flyquest, because they want to sit back and scale. They want to just say, Quad could TP in, but maybe we just leave him on the side instead. They need to use this dragon wisely, and I think trying to force a fight here is probably not going to be it. Trying to get that top inner, though, could be a good thing if they can slow this down.
Abrav's on vision, but he's able to grand exit out of this one. Deadly Flourish not going to be enough to hold him in position, and that is just going to be a little bit of an attempt, but nothing really committed as, oh dear, the flash over the wall.
¡Maurazo de época! Broken Blade federado, que sigan hablando. No me jodas, Joshua, por favor, no me metas ahí el efecto este. Que me hace mucha gracia el efecto este. Va a poder este. Jetas. Va bastante cuajado, Broken Blade, que ahora puede estar en una situación crítica. La kill que se la va a llevar quién, la kill que se la va a llevar quién, la kill que se la va a llevar el inspirado. Esto que lo va a aprovechar G2, puede ser el tier 2 de medio, esto que será muy importante. Va a intentar limpiar aquí Whippingson la torre, que va a acabar cayendo.
So 2 turrets in trade for a Rumble
and a kill on a Sejuani. So I don't really feel like, I mean, it's not a bad play to kill Broken Blade there, but it just doesn't feel like it's worth. But that was the only play they could make, and they were at least able to get that much. But
the answer is too good.
It just doesn't change the state of the game. In fact, the state of the game continues to be further and further in G2's favor. And you know, where do you go from here? You had that one chance to use the dragon to try to get the inner. And going to that moment here, this is Broken Blade who's just like, well, I was going to come over, but I guess if you're going to stay, I don't have TP. Drops Equalizer on him, has his heat charged here for the full maxed out Q damage, and then flashes the Emperor's Divide. And gets him during the silence there with a few autos and cooks him. So Quad gets taken out. He wants so desperately to be that late game damage threat for his team. I think it was the right call, but he gets outplayed.
Yeah, he did. And his flash is still up and available.
No lo he dicho yo, Leo, lo ha puesto alguien en el chat. Si no sabes leer, no tenemos la culpa.
Broken Blade, you're never actually going to be able to do enough.
Vale, señores, vamos allá.
And so the man with the double masks is
la diferencia de oro,
2-3-2 now on this Rumble.
Yo creo que está bastante correcta ahora mismo,
This is going to be a
una
very
situación más que
scary
aceptable.
yordle up there towards the top side of the map as Caps
He's going to be clearing out this wave. Whippo lying in wait, not wanting to give away his position too early, and is eventually just going to catch that wave and throw it back towards G2. Headbutt pole going to come through once again. Deadly Flourish as the follow-up, and Labrov almost loses a health.
Broken Blade this time might actually die to a champ.
AKA Broken Brain.
Yeah, perhaps.
Broken Brain. Broken Brain. Broken Brain.
Broken Brain. Broken Brain.
El que se va a acabar llevando quad.
Va,
estás bien, chicos, calma, no, tranquilizaos. Mucha ventaja la Chaya. Va por delante también el genio Caps. Y ese Jin no va a pegar una mierda. Habría que intentar forzar si fuera G2 antes de que pillen el segundo ítem. Si pueden forzar antes de que tenga filo el Jin, es otra película.
Charging has ultimate. They're not going to commit any
ya,
further,
Zoyo, pero lastimosamente solo pagan a los angloparlantes. A los españoles no nos han pagado por hacer el torneo. Solo lo que se suscriba la gente. Solo lo que se suscriba la gente. Bueno, y los anuncios, que todo suma. Cuidado con esto, lo pueden acabar sacando adelante. Ojito porque la recogida de plumas será buena. Skewbon que va a asegurar el objetivo bajo el terror, que es terrible. Están fuera del rango ya prácticamente. No hay nada que hacer aquí. Grande, señor Cigarro, gracias por el remismo, seguimos. Vale, vale, vale.
He has ult there because he used it obviously in that last play bottom side. It's just now coming up, but even if he has ult, tries to flash for it, Han Sama can just ult him and just be like, all right, I'm chilling. Nice try. Desperate plays, desperate times called for desperate measures, but I do wonder if perhaps if they had just kind of slow played and contested and let Quad sit in that bottom lane and maybe take out an inner, if that would have been the better play. But
ay, señor.
And I get it, he was burned by sitting in the side lane top side last time by Broken Blade.
Yep.
En la pausa que hacemos, metemos la Superliga o qué. Ahora doy la predicción. Luego damos la predicción, le acaban de pegar un palizón histórico a Masu que no se entera de nada. Whippo el teleport a la espalda que no va a servir tampoco para prácticamente nada. Inspired que tiene que flashear, qué bien está jugando G2.
Him and Bristle are able to escape though, and G2 unable to get their fangs into anyone other than.
Luego metemos el superliguismo.
Okay, never mind. Maybe they found.
Hacemos aquí, chicos, el doblete. Menos mal que tengo aquí el ventilador porque me estoy hasta mareando del calor que hace. Cuidado con Skewbon, la que le va a caer a Busio. No puedes perder esto ni de coña, no se puede, chicos. Ni de coña G2 se le puede escapar esta partida. Ni de coña, ¿verdad? Que te hayan disparado el quad, que empieza a pegar bastante daño. Hombre, el sorteo comprenderás, Leos, que como mínimo es sospechoso, ¿no?
Whippo's nowhere in sight here as well. He does finish hysterics, but he doesn't have teleport. He cannot join the fight, so that is going to be soul point picked up. As another Mikhail is going to be utilized very nicely. As never mind, it's actually a cleanse. Still, Han Sama at full health. The curtains have been called, and Caps takes a lot of damage from that one. The equalizer's good from Broken Blade, though, and Inspired, he agrees. Going to give him a good old thumbs up for that one as they make their way out scot-free.
G2 don't have to use any ultimates outside of the equalizer there. They're just chilling. They know their limits so incredibly well. They know, okay, we can't fight here, let's back away. Okay, now we're grouped on Dragon, they can't do anything. Checkmate, we grab Dragon, we kite away. Thanks for the ult, Masu. Like, you're not going to be able to get anything from us here. And they know exactly how much they can walk that fine line of taking the Dragon and kiting away and not getting punished, even with the Azir having that ult up. So Flyquest are keeping themselves alive in this one. It's just a
ya debería haber quizá algo más de ventaja. Es que ahora mismo G2 está a una teamfight mala de palmarla, Si hay otro Flyquest clone es para volverse loco, también os digo. Por delante no lo cuade. Duro de pelotas,
He has to be the win con. He has to be that supreme late game damage.
And on the other side, it's Han Sama, right? And you mentioned a 2,000 gold lead. That is his gold lead.
Sería espectacular que Furia ganase el Global, lo que podría yo celebrar. Podríamos haber Melón que veo una Europa tendría más de 2 mundiales. Seguro que sí. Una buena teamfight de Flyquest y gana, es lo único que digo,
That range advantage will be significant despite a gold deficit, so you have to play these out clean as G2. So mistakes could cost you big. Because even with the 2,200 gold lead here for Ensemble, you can't close the gap, you can't hit autos, it doesn't necessarily matter. And if they start to lose map control, as they are a little bit here in this mid lane, that's maybe an angle for Flyquest to get back in. I feel like Flyquest down,
es que está metiendo toda la presión abajo Luis Pinson. Alguien debería atender esa wave. Y muy poco te que venir andando porque no tiene TP, Broken Blade en medio, lo van a acabar viendo. Cuidado el combo que puede ser espectacular. Tiene que flashear, al final intercambian. Skewmon que está stuneado. Le van a partir el alma. Tiene que utilizar el Mikael. Se intenta escapar G2. La cazada que es buenísima. La bro. Va a sobrevivir a nada de vida. Parece que puede no morir nadie. Tiene que flashear también Skewmon y los ha echado de la zona Flyquest.
But I don't know whether they're going to be able to hold on to control of the map, and Fly are looking for this Baron.
I think they have enough damage to start this up 100%. Going to get that teleport out of Lebrov. He does have unsealed, so he can just get right back into the fight.
Yeah. Broken Blade could be in trouble as Whipper unable to get through the wall. That was a bit of a sad one. He has a Pengu ready, so once again, the emote game is good, but they're not going to be able to kill the Rumble.
Not confident enough with the teleport for Lebrov. They know he has unsealed. And they're also a bit split, like you said, chasing there, looking for the kill onto Broken Blade, who lost his flash moments before, and they do end up losing control of this. Lebrov is recon, so probably fine. Caps is just lurking, man. They're trying to bait so hard.
Yeah, he's like, Caps is like, I don't need a reset. I can't afford my next item. The Void Staff's not ready yet, so I'm just going to make sure that they're not going to get
Broken Blade again. But remember, Flashless, this guy's gotten caught so many times.
Well, I mean, there is a teleport from Quad, so he can actually be here. Emperor's Divide goes down as Inspired going to be a little bit late, but now without Emperor's Divide, the teleport is free.
Cuidado,
Quad is going to have to try and follow him.
Teleport, pero está 8000 de vida el Nashor, debería llevárselo G2. Llega muy tarde Flyquest, el call que es muy bueno. Se lo van a acabar llevando, lo smitea Skewmon. Y la teamfight, que vamos a ver cómo sale. La Bro que consigue escapar, consigue pivotar. Y de momento, dragón gratis, Por Dios, qué cuajada de Flyquest, Me ha gustado mucho lo que ha hecho Broken Maula, Vamos a ver la Bro, van a intentar cazar a Inspire. Pueden estar rodeados, el que va a acabar estallando es Wipo, que recibe muchísimo daño. Pierde la mitad de la vida Caps. Masu que tira abajo el telón. Primera bala que impacta, la segunda que no. La tercera que se la para con el pecho. Broken Day solo ha dado la mitad. Masu que empieza a pegar un poquito, pero podría no ser suficiente. Muy junto el equipo de G2. Empiezan a recibir daño en área. Masu que flashea. Esto va a ser europeo. Esto va a ser europeo. Y G2 que puede pasar como primero de grupo, G2 primero de grupo. G2 evita a Genji T1. Ha vuelto Europa. Ya no somos quinta región. Europa ya no es quinta región. Repito, Europa ya no es quinta región. Paren las rotativas. Torneo 100% ganable. Todos juntos vamos a ganar. Todos juntos vamos a gozar. Chilling.
Okay, the Jin ult is gone. They go back in. Hansama's untouched. As we're going to jump out of the replay. He just sits there and does 7,000 damage for free.
It was absolutely ridiculous. And now he's going to do even more damage, as that's Inspired's health bar worth of damage there. Emperor's Divide going to get Quad out of dodge, or does it?
Bueno, me alegro por Europa, chicos, No me jodas, Skewmon,
I think he's dead. Yeah, he is.
Bueno,
so maybe a little bit overexcited,
¿no?
but that is just jungler for jungler. G2 going to continue pushing forward.
No puede pasar 5 minutos sin liarla, Aún así, esto que debería ser G2. Luis Pinson.
¿Cuál
es esa canción, Leo?
So they get something back, but I mean, G2
no, esta canción no,
Speaking of broken, is
broken
the blade
Mehdi Production.
He is able to run pretty quickly. Now it's a top lane battle as the ulti comes through from Bwipo. He's just trying to keep Broken Blade in position.
¡Ay, el abajo el telón! Le ha dado el slow al menos.
He's actually going to connect here as Broken Blade is going to get cut down.
Cuidado los throwbacks, son 6K, chicos, calma. Calma, que está la cosa muy bien. 6K de ventaja.
He is really hanging on in this game, isn't he? He's like, hey, give me any money. He's about to have his death cap. Doesn't quite have money.
There is a rapid fire cannon now on Masu. He's got 3 items.
Yeah, I mean like,
there's 4 items on Hansama.
I do feel like if you're even vision, everything's set up on both sides, the range advantage is a problem for G2, and some of the over-aggressive plays, like what we saw from Skumon earlier, it can be a problem.
Es un poco raro
the big issue here is Hansama's damage. So if you can't
Lo que pega Juan Samuel es
and he just
loco.
gets to auto, it doesn't matter how big your Azir is, because you'll never be as big as this Aya right now. This is a problem.
Vaya partida de Hansama, Para toda la gente que luego le critica,
And dies, and this does really take a little bit of the wind out of the sails here for G2.
Otra vez. Esto es un déjà vu. Esto es un déjà vu. El teleport que puede estar bien a la espalda. Tiene que llegar andando Whippinson porque no tiene el TP. Doble kill. Deberían acabar aquí, Yo creo que acaban aquí, Manolito Suárez cazado. Situación crítica para Flyquest. Esto significa, señores, que no van a pasar los dos equipos de LTA. Esto es bueno para Europa porque no van a poder pedir... Joder, qué locura la limpiada de Wave. Lo que rema esta gente es loco.
With 2 down here, 3 down rather, I should say, for Flyquest.
Tiene la E, igual que quite la planta. Ojo, no me jodas tú. Sería loco que se cargara Caps. Tío, menudo déjà vu, es que han reventado 2 veces a Inspire de la misma manera, Ahora ya no pueden decir tercera región o cuarta, chicos, calma. Ya lo veremos, pero última no, Copium.
I don't know what that is.
But Fountain Lasers are jealous of this Xayah right now.
If there were like 3 fountains next to each other and you walked into all 3 of them, they all overlap, that's what Hansama is doing in this game.
It's like you're playing the easiest levels of a tower defense, you know, and it's like the first wave. It's looking dangerous. As Quad also just going to get jumped on here by Skumon, who doesn't quite have the same answers as the rest of his teammates with his flash on cooldown. Did have the ulti, but isn't actually going to employ it. I mean, this doesn't have the ult now.
This is significant because they have the mid push here with the super minions, and now Quad doesn't have ult for a potential Baron take. Baron's up in 30 seconds. I think G2 could just do their due diligence here, put some deep vision up, and look to start this Baron up with a nearly full build.
Tío, es increíble lo que le está costando cerrar, Es que ahora ya hay mucho daño, Ahora una cazada o cualquier liada, igual hasta palmas el game. Tienes que cerrar cuanto antes, tío, y no complicarte la puta vida, tío. Claro, cuando hay dinero en juego sacan el Prime, ¿no? Lo que les importa es el dinerito de la eSport World Cup, Lo que les importa es la copa dinero, el combo que le acaban de pegar a Manolito Suárez. Es incapaz de sobrevivir, lo van a burstear. Esto que puede ser GG, por favor. Minuto 33, paja y a la caja.
Is not going to be in the same situation. He does have to flash, but it's not going to be enough to keep him alive. His Caps is going to follow him, finds a Fire Blast, and that's going to finish him off. Busio now just going to get thrown around like a rag cow. And Hansama is very legendary in this game. The Empress Divide is back up again. Skumon is going to go down to his GA, but G2, man, we were asking the question about revenge. This was absolute obliteration here in EWC, and they'll be moving on to the knockout.
Partida de mierda de Masu, que ya hizo un MSI, bueno, sin más, Cuidado, señoras y señores, Masu alcanzando el anti-prime.